everyone, welcome back to my channel. So on today's video, I'm gonna be making a tiki hut for my Barbie dolls. This is going to be for my big summer project, which I've been calling Barbie Beach Blast, in which my characters from the family are gonna be going to Hawaii. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell. I'm gonna start by measuring, then cutting some cardboard to make the base of my tiki hut. I'll be cutting out a back, a front, and 2 sides for this. The measurements for the sides are 6 inches wide and 7 tall, while the front and back are 10 inches wide by 7 inches tall. Of course, you can change this up depending on how big you want your tiki hut to be. You can also use paperboard for this, but cardboard works just as well. We're back after all 4 of my pieces have been cut, and once again, here are the measurements in case you want to make this one yourself. I'm gonna be using this glossy bamboo paper that I printed out on my printer to cover my cardboard sides with. You can also use scrapbook paper for this if you would prefer. I'm going to stick my cardboard onto my paper using some hot glue. You can also use stick glue or Elmer's glue for this, but hot glue does seem to work the best. I'm also going to very carefully fold in the sides to where it is smooth on the ends. I at first tried to use tape to do this, but it didn't work well at all. I'm going to cover all 4 sides of my tiki hut with my bamboo paper. Be careful when using the hot glue though, because if you get it too thick, you will be able to see ridges through the paper. You can also burn yourself really easily when doing this. And here are what the sides of our tiki hut ended up looking like. I think it all looks really great. I also cut some cardboard to make the countertops of my tiki hut, and real quick, here are the measurements. These measurements might vary depending on how you want to do your countertops. I also printed some paper of a smooth bamboo surface, and I'm gonna use it to cover my countertops with. And there we go. Now that all the parts of my tiki hut have been covered with paper, it's time to assemble it together. I'm also going to be using hot glue for this, and I'm going to be very careful when it comes to assembling it together. Once the base of the tiki hut is assembled, I'm going to add a strip of hot glue down the middle of my long countertop before placing it on top of the tiki hut base. So far, this is what the tiki hut is ending up looking like. I still have the 2 sides left, and I might come back and add these on later, but I'm not really sure. For my tiki hut, I'm actually going to be using some real bamboo. So if you're wondering where I got this at, it's actually a funny story. So I had told my grandma that I was looking for some bamboo to craft with, and a little while later she's like, hey, I found some bamboo. And basically what we did was, we drove by this place, it was like right on the side of the road, right by someone's house, and there's just some bamboo growing there. So we literally jumped out of the car and just stole a few stalks. But if you don't have a place to steal bamboo from, you can buy it off of Amazon for a pretty decent price. I'm gonna use my bamboo to make some support beams for my tiki hut. I'm gonna have it at about 6.5 to 7 inches tall. I'm gonna use some pliers to cut off the smaller pieces on the bamboo. Now I have 1 straight stalk to measure and cut. I'll be using my X-Acto knife to cut the thicker pieces of bamboo. And let me warn you, this was very hard.
I have a lot of respect for pandas who can eat this stuff daily because it's virtually impossible to cut through. I think my knife's stuck.
So that took forever, but I now have 4 different bamboo stalks of the length I want them to be. Thankfully, some were hollow inside, so it was a little easier to break them apart, but others, not so much. And by the way, I did end up adding my 2 sides to my countertop, and I think it looks a lot better this way. Now I'll be hot gluing my 4 bamboo posts to my tiki hut. also cut 4 more pieces of bamboo that I'm gonna place along the base of my tiki hut just to make it look a little more realistic. I only had enough bamboo to do the front, but I think that's gonna be okay for now. To make the roof of my tiki hut, I'm gonna be using some more cardboard. Real quick, the measurements for this are 11 inches by 4 3/4. I'm gonna hot glue my 2 pieces together into the shape of a roof. And as you can see, this is gonna fit right on top of the post of my tiki hut. I'm gonna be using some of this raffia that I found at Walmart to cover my roof with. I'm gonna start by adding some hot glue to the roof, then very carefully placing the raffia on top. You have to be very patient for this, and it's very time consuming and pretty challenging to do. I also burnt myself a lot when trying to do this, so I would highly advise that you be very patient and cautious. At first, I did try to use some regular Elmer's glue for this, but it just wasn't sticking very well, and hot glue does seem to work the best. So I ended up doing my raffia in several different layers in order to cover all of the cardboard. I didn't use quite a full pack of one, but it did take a lot. Let's also not forget to mention how much hot glue we went through. And here is what our roof ended up looking like after we have finished covering it in raffia. I think it turned out pretty good. To attach my roof to my tiki hut, I'm going to be making a frame out of some wooden dowels. The measurements for these are 9 inches and 4.5. Now I'm just going to be gluing the top of my post of my tiki hut onto the frame. And here is what it looks like once we have it all glued on. Now I'm just gonna place my roof on top of the tiki hut and glue it in place. And now we are basically done with the structure of our tiki hut. As cute as it looks, I think we need to add a few more details to the tiki hut. On the internet, I found some really cute printables to use for my tiki hut. I found some signs, a menu, and even a big chalk one for in the back. I'll send a link to these in the description down below in case you want to use them yourself. I also printed these out on some shiny photo paper just so they'll look a little better. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these out, then find out where exactly I want to put them on my tiki hut. I'll be placing my menus on the countertops. And I'm gonna choose a sign for the front. I can't decide which one I like better. Using a needle, I'm gonna poke 2 holes on the top half of my signs to slip some string through to hang it with. And I'm gonna tie it in the back to secure it. Now I'm gonna add a piece of tape to my string in order to hang it up. I also have this other tiki hut sign that I can either put above here or down below. And here is what I ended up doing. I placed this sign down here, and I also made this little one that says Island Time by adding a piece of paperboard behind it to make it stand up straight. I think that all of the little accessories really make the tiki hut look really cute. I also added this tiki sign up to the top just by using hot glue. By following a My Froggy Stuff tutorial, I made these cute little bar stools to go with the tiki hut. And here are the final results of what our tiki hut ended up looking like. When I first started out on this project, I had no idea of how it was gonna go, but I have to say I am super satisfied with how the tiki hut ended up looking like. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching me in today's video as I made this DIY tiki hut for my Barbie dolls. If you enjoyed, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Plus also, if you made this, I would love to see how it ended up looking like. Bye guys!